Hello, I'm Saurav. I developed the site, and I'm going to do a quick introduction to the water quality data presentation portal for the Occoquan watershed. This is not intended to be an exhaustive introduction. It will not cover all the features of the site, but should be enough to get you started with the portal. So let's get going. First thing first, go to the portal using your favorite web browser. I like Google Chrome, but latest version of IE, Firefox, Safari, Opera, whatever you choose should work. Remember to use the latest version though. Once you're on the browser, you can interact with this portal. First thing you need to do is to sign up. It's a small and painless process. It helps us keep track of how the data is being used for optimization purposes. To sign up, click this link. On the dialog that pops up, choose how you want to sign in, either by using one of the available social network sign-ons or create a user ID password. You can do both too and change it later. So don't worry too much about it, just create an account and get started. I'm going to use an account which I created for this demo to sign on. Once you're successfully signed on, you will see this map with the outline of Occoquan watershed. The markers on the map are our field stations. Stream stations are S and rain gauges are marked R. You can click on one of the stations to get more information about it. When you click on the station, as I just did, if the station is a stream station, the sub-watershed for the station is highlighted. The dialog which popped up has some information about it. If you click on the link, another dialog with picture of the station pops up. There are other tabs on the main information window. The second tab has information about land use in the sub-watershed highlighted. The third tab has water resources information available for the station. The latest reading for the parameters reported here and also plotted on the CDF curve, the orange dot. If you need a refresher, there is a link which will give you more information about what CDF curve is. By scrolling down, you can see all the parameters available through this portal for the station. To inspect the recent history, you can use the click to graph link. This will bring up a graph with up to 6 months of data for the parameter. You can zoom by clicking on the handle and dragging. You can pan by clicking on the graph, holding and dragging. This graph also has features like tabulate data and download spreadsheet or a picture if you like. F11. If you click on a rain station and graph the data by clicking on the click to graph link, a slightly different graph pops up with some additional feature. Okay, this didn't work. Here we go. So a slightly different graph pops up with some additional features to aggregate rain data into hourly and daily time frames. The landing page, the map view, is a useful start if you want to look at one parameter at one station. If you need to compare parameters, you need to use the graph view page. This graph view lets you construct graphs or comparison among parameters at different stations. To construct graph, you have to use the dialog and in this page. For this example, I'm going to construct three graphs. So I click on 3 here. I'm going to compare flow for 2 stations, compare precipitation intensity for 2 stations, and plot DO and temperature and turbidity for one station. Now that I've selected 3 graphs, I'm going to go to the map by clicking on select a map button and select the station which I want to plot. I'm going to use ST45 here. You see the parameters available at the station are populated in this screen here. Next, I'm going to drag and drop the parameter to the graph where I want to plot. So I'm going to use flow on graph 1. I'm going to use DO, temperature, and WD on graph 3. I'm going to compare the flow of ST45 with flow at this ST25 station. So I'm going to take the flow, drag and drop it on first graph to compare. Next I'm going to let's compare rain on the northern end and southern end of the watershed. So let's use this for the north. Rain gauge, so I'm going to put this on the second graph, and this rain gauge for the comparison. You know what, I'm going to drag and drop this rain gauge to the flow graph too. You'll see later why did I do that. Once I'm done constructing the series, I'm going to choose the date range which I want to plot. So let's plot for a year 2012. Done. Let's use now. Done. Now once I've done selecting dates, I'm going to hit Smart Plot. Smart Plot will automatically assign axes for the series and do normalization. I could have done this manually, assign axes by clicking on this P and C, P and S. P is for primary y-axis and S is for secondary y-axis, and I can do normalization by clicking on this gear icon and selecting the normalization which I want. Smart Plot usually does a good job, so I'm going to use this. So I'm going to hit Smart Plot here. Now the window tells me what data this is going to fetch. So for graph 1, on the primary axis primary y-axis is going to plot ST45 flow and ST25 flow. On the secondary y-axis is going to plot cedar run rainfall. On graph 2 we are comparing 2 rainfalls. It's going to plot the rainfalls for 2 stations. On third graph it's going to plot ST45 DO on the primary and temperature and turbidity on the secondary axis. And it also tells you how many data points it's going to fetch for the request that I just put in. So that's mentioned here. I want to change it a little bit, so I'm going to click not yet and change. So I want both evergreen and cedar run rainfall to be plotted on the primary, so I'm just going to click and make it P. I want DO and temperature on primary, where the turbidity remains on the secondary axis, and I also don't want any normalization, so I'll just click none here. Now that I've made changes, I want to use the plot, because Smart Plot will again do the same thing which it did earlier. So I'm going to hit plot here and click plot again, since I'm happy with what I see here. Now plot with very similar feature to what we saw earlier come up. So you can zoom in. By the way, this is a plot with 2 flows and the rain is inverted on the top. You can pan. You can choose to tabulate the data or look at the picture. So very similar functionality to what we saw earlier is available. If you want to change something, just click on this plus icon here to bring the dialog back up, and let's say this time we want to plot only 2 graphs, so click on 2 and hit plot. So as you can see, comparing data through this scheme is very easy. After the graph view, there are other views available. Like you can go to the last reading tab to get information about the last reported reading for a sensor. You just click on it and it will give you some more information about the parameter and the station. We also have a forum or community section where you can ask questions about water resources and check posts. And then finally we have the settings menu where you can change the look and feel, add social sign-on if you haven't done that already, and then change your profile and do contact us and things like that. So that's pretty much it. Hope this will help you get started with the site.